Great embarrassments of the Clinton presidency, John Kerry managed to have his hair styled while out of town last week, and he got it done by the same hair salon the Clintons used. The former president, you may recall, kept Air Force One waiting on the tarmac in Los Angeles 11 years ago this month, while Christoph of Beverly Hills came aboard and cut his hair. Christoph later opened a salon in Washington, and one of his stylists, French-educated Isabelle Getz, does Kerry's hair as well as Hillary Clinton's. The French Clinton, not quite what Kerry was going for. The $1,000 haircut became juicy fodder for late-night comics. John Kerry, does he support gay marriage? Here's a hint. He gets $1,000 haircuts, quipped Craig Kilborn. Jay Leno jibed, $1,000 for a haircut, which sounds like a lot, but have you seen the size of John Kerry's head? And David Letterman joked, the campaign for the White House is heating up, with John Kerry taking heat for throwing his Vietnam medals away, getting a $1,000 haircut, and wearing a 1970s wig known as the Leno. There are really two sides to this story, and America can't wait for Kerry to present both of them. For the next 6 months, John Kerry's hair, and by extension his elitism, became the central focus of the 2004 presidential campaign. On June 1st, the Republican National Committee released an online game entitled Kerryopoly. One of the squares on the board, John Kerry's $1,000 haircut. Most Americans can't afford yachts, private planes, $1,000 haircuts, or homes in Nantucket. But they can when they play Kerryopoly, poked RNC Communications Director Jim Dyke. John Kerry tries to put a bunch of fancy talk, tried to disguise that record, sort of like his fancy haircut, fancy manicure, tried to disguise the whole thing, remarked the vice president's wife Lynn Cheney at a Kerry-Bush debate-watching party in October. But there is nothing you can do to really obscure that record. You can try, though. And in Wyoming, we've got a saying for what it is when you keep trying to make something that is not so good look good. We call it putting lipstick on a pig. Unbelievably, Kerry continued to shoot himself in the Versace-covered foot throughout the campaign. After he chose immaculately coiffed Senator John Edwards, Democrat from North Carolina, as his running mate, Kerry remarked, "We've got better ideas. We've got great plans. We've got a better sense of what's happening in America. And we've got better hair." Kerry repeated the joke in Ohio and Florida. Apparently, Karl Rove was now writing John Kerry's lines. Rove was also designing Kerry's photo ops. In 3 disastrous weeks, Kerry laminated his status as the Cannes Film Festival's presidential pick. On July 30th, the Kerry and Edwards couples visited a Wendy's to celebrate the Edwards' wedding anniversary down-home style. Except that both couples left after a few minutes of posing for the cameras and returned to the campaign bus, where they had gourmet food awaiting them. Shrimp vindaloo, grilled diver sea scallops, prosciutto-wrapped stuffed chicken, all prepared by a Culinary Institute of America trained chef. The all-too-predictable Marie Antoinette-invoking headline from the New York Post, "Let them eat ketchup." "The Kerrys and the Edwards went to Wendy's the other day for lunch," said Jay Leno. "They made a big deal. Oh, we're regular people going to Wendy's. We're going to go to Wendy's." But when they got back, they secretly had a gourmet meal delivered from a nearby yacht club. So I guess there really are 2 Americas, and they just don't like the food in the poorer one. That's basically the problem. Then, on August 11th, Kerry visited Pat's Steaks in Philadelphia and ordered a Philly cheesesteak with Swiss cheese, which is like ordering a hot dog at a ball game with caviar on the side. And finally, the kicker. Kerry was a windsurfer. In January 2004, Kerry campaigners began handing out copies of a 1998 American Windsurfer magazine with Kerry on the cover. This was already about as smart as handing out photographs of Kerry wearing a beret and sipping absinthe at a small cafe off the Champs-Élysées. But Kerry wasn't done. The week of August 10th, Kerry again had his hairdresser flown across the country from Washington, D.C. to Portland, Oregon, in order to prepare Kerry for a windsurfing photo op. The photo op blew over, but Kerry would later go ahead with a similar